Guys, Dr. Meekdays here, back with some more Warno. We have a 10v10 here on, was this Dark Stream, I believe. So we're going in with the Berlin command. So I've been trying to learn how to play this division, tweaked it a couple times. I think I have at least something that can be successful against some of the lower divisions. So we'll kind of see how this goes. So we're going to be taking Gulf and Foxtrot area. Next to us, Battlefront has the Territorial Commando Sud, so we'll have to see how he fits in. I think he ends up in the middle. We have US Phil, who is playing the 3rd Armored. Franz Ferdinand, who is playing is the 2nd Infantry Division, the British 2nd Infantry. Then Gast Kajal playing the 11th Armored Cavalry. So a lot of armor to augment us. There is that. Ultimately, I think it just ends up being us three in the middle. We're squaring off against Comet 9, who is playing the Berliner Gruberung. So that's one there. Divian, who is playing as the KDA. We have Ghost 13, who's playing as the 7th Panzer Division. And then Noob one's kind of moving in and out in both. And he is playing the 79th Guards tank. So let's get right into this. It's a good one. Some good pushes, and I'm finally learning how to do things in Warno. Let's go with just our view in this one, just because there's so many units on the field in a 10v10, and I just think it's better that way. So we're gonna move in. We're gonna have some scouts beyond this perimeter here. Make sure they don't come in here. We got our command with Assault Pioneers. We got some Engineers Dragon. I did notice later on, or actually in the middle of the game, that these actually aren't as far as their Warsaw Pack Metis, but I think, and they're not as accurate, but I think they're a little bit stronger. So another Dragon supply, an AMX-30, which I'm liking against infantry. They're low cost. They're pretty good for infantry support. Bringing in Milan 2s. I like these also because the vehicle itself is also a Milan 2. So you come in and it really puts 10 Milans in an area. And I think this could be a good bit against armor. We have that. Another AMX-30. One PVAD. Right in here, we'll see how that goes. And then some scouts. These scouts have the laws. It's only a team of 4, so it's 3 assault rifles, a light support weapon, and a tank, but at least they'll be able to kind of deal with any armor that kind of comes through. The biggest thing with these guys is they're going to need support while moving up, which is obvious. We start seeing these tanks over here and we think, yeah, if we get, say, a Milan here, we can just see the road. So from there, if they use this road here in front of us to move down, these 2 Milans sitting right here will be able to fire just on the road. Ghost has a T-55 push with a Strela, trying to trap all of these guys over here into the city. I don't know why, but Battlefront could have actually went straight up the front here and came in. We do a fire support with a Harrier cluster. I mean, the Harriers aren't particularly great, but this particular one doesn't get shot at until it's damn near over the target, and then it gets it got hit by one Strela here, and I think another Strela there. So there's that. Smoke coming in. It looks like they're gonna have this tank push here. The tanks that try to push this way and we're stopped, they're gonna try to push this way. But little do they know, we have a lot of anti-tank here, and we're calling up some more. So Chieftain gonna be popping up. Not great on the armor, but good on the cannon and good accuracy. These are Chieftain 10s. We don't have any like heavy armor. It's just a lot of it's medium or light, which I'm fine with if you use it in mass. We're gonna move this AMX-30 up just as well, a way to kind of stop them from pushing up these T-55s. We're talking about something that doesn't have the greatest pen, which is fine, but we don't need that much pen from AMX-30. AMX-30 misses there. It's on the move while firing. Yeah, it's a 50% static. And there goes the auto cannon on it. T-55 still coming down. I think the Milan did. Well, this Milan will get that. Hits it, takes it half its health, but loses it, and then the AMX-30 kills it the rest of the way. The 4 more still in there. Our Chieftain Mark 10's coming in. We have a Hell Arm. We have an Engineer Dragon that we're going to bring in. So if they pop out of this force, they're going to have bad news bears against multiple tanks and some ATGMs. Coming through, this Milan fires. Milan kills it from the side. AMX-30 does hit it, but there's that Milan from the side. They're going to smoke out there. Now they're trapped. Because here the Bradley starts taking over this area. They'd be able to see this. Now you have a bunch of Sea Knights coming through with the Kiowa Warrior. We bring in another Hell Arm, and now these tanks are completely stuck out in the open. It doesn't matter if you try to smoke that, you're not gonna hide. We're gonna bring in probably our best tank that we have in Berlin Command. So bring up another Milan as well. That's the M1 IP Abrams. So 17 front armor, 18 penetration. I think that's less than the Chieftain, but it has better armor. There's that. T-64 coming up. We're gonna need that. At least we can still pen it. It has better armor in the front. The Abrams can tank some of that, some of those shots. It can't actually. So we have these 2 Hell Arms that, just to make sure they don't come across, they're going to bring in some Iglas in front. A lot of smoke still being used in this area, but it's not going to dissuade our allies. I think this actually helps our allies start pushing, because this entire city is getting leveled. So the only way they can go is forward. They can retreat back, but doing that, you'll never get a bridgehead on the side of the river again. So the key is you just have to push forward. So our Abrams is coming up. I'm gonna put this Milan here in the tree line. Decent one. This Hell Arm starts getting the Igla shot at it. I don't notice it at first until it's hit, and then we move it back. Engineer's Dragon. We're pulling more and more infantry up. Here's some rifles here with their Law 80s. So good weapon damage. Not the greatest range, but to crew of 8. And then some Berlin rifles that have the M72 Laws. Pretty good infantry with 10. Just there's no specialized infantry, I think, in this deck. T-64 is coming out, and now the Abrams are gonna take a shot. It's gonna hit one of the T-64s and then back off. Our supply area is going to be back here in the peninsula. It's the safest area. No pushes on the left. What's going on the rest of the map is Oldai and Hadrian moving up on the left side. Kind of stable in the here in, what is this, India at the moment. Foxtrot's taken, but we have Golf. Delta that we still haven't taken, for whatever reason. Charlie's been taken, but our guys there are pushing up into Charlie. Bravo's been taken, and then with Viper, Alpha is starting to get a foothold, just not taken yet. India is contested. We're resupplying these guys back here. And here's where I see Phil and France Ferdinand wanting to push this up. Well, it's time to ride. Let's do it. So we're going to push these up. We have these T-64s. We're going to end up doing is taking this infantry. We're going to support it with the tanks. So we're going to put the tanks in a line here. We're going to have the infantry push up. And we're going to collapse this. And we're going to work our way up the bridge on the side. So with that in mind, since we're going to be working up here, we're going to get an Abrams command tank. We're also going to need an assault pioneers leader. What we're going to do is we're going to put this one in here as a secondary one here, unless in case we get hit back here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to shove it straight up through here. That also gives us the secondary one if we have this pioneer leader to push us up if we need to. So they're going to move their T-64s up here. You see some T-72s in the back. Starting to see some more air. There's really just 4 people in the middle against 4. So here comes the chieftains. This Abrams is finally resupplied. Takes a shot. The Milan. Actually, it's going to be the Engineer Dragons. And they're going to smoke off. We're going to get this pioneer leader here. We're going to pull up a rocket Gazelle. We are going to resupply these guys up here. So he's pulling these T-64s all the way back. And I see that this is getting rocket artied. Fine with that. We're gonna get these tanks up, and then once we're good, we're going to push up. A lot of aircraft in the air. Good aircraft attack by the Warsaw Pact side. Took out 3 Cobras there. And here it goes. We're gonna push up in these forests. We're gonna take this forest to move up.
Warning.
You see here this Igla. It's definitely dead with the 2 chieftains. Still repairing this Abrams. We're gonna bring in some more Berlin light rifles, another M1 IP. We're gonna have a good 4 tank line as we move up into this area. Mi-24 is gonna get hit by the Javelin. Igla is gonna be taken down there, and then once the Igla is down, we can move up our aircraft as well. Well, we have these Strellas over here. So at first we're going to use these assault pioneer leaders. We're going to get this up here. We're not going to take the tank at first, just because there is a lot of air still in the air. And I think with infantry it's better to get this up here, because we'll get the assault pioneer leaders in here. We'll move the Berlin light rifles, the rifles in engineer dragons into this tree line in the first place. Let's see if we can't push to this tree line. We are close to their base and their air spawns right here, so that could be an issue long term. Here come the chieftains in the Abrams. This Abrams we're going to get on the outside, so it'll be 2 chieftains flanked by Abrams. Alarm's going to come up, the other wet for recon. Okay, so we actually equalize in the corner here. We have a ticking 1. Light rifles are going to get out here. That in mind, we're going to close the distance. So they're trying to get him to cap that. And then we'll say some players are just better defensive players. So we're good elsewhere. Pretty stabilized. Here we go. Infantry coming across here. We're gonna get these scouts. It's French scouts. Equilars. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm definitely mispronouncing that. Our chieftain's coming up now. Firing now on these T-64s out in the open. So what we do is we ganged up on them. We have a chieftain in Abrams firing at the left one and a chieftain in the Abrams fighting on the right one. And it's just frankly not going to win that. Now it's that the PT-76 is going to get annihilated by the Abrams. Now you have Philip moving up M1A1HAs. Going against some T-72s, and those 2 by themselves are not going to do great against those T-72s and an Su-25. This is the thing. You got to be aware where their air spawn is because it's right here. So he loses 2 command vehicles there. Maybe that was Ghost Gal that had that. A-10 comes in, starts hitting stuff, but there's so many air because we're right on their spawn. It doesn't matter. Harrier comes in, tries to take a couple shots. That's not going to matter. And we're just going to have to whittle this down. T-64 takes 3 tank shots there. Not going to survive that. Su-25 comes in again. T-Bad's going to hit it. Hell Arm is hit, wasting an Su-25's air-to-air. We got a Chieftain Mark 10. We just called another one in. We're going to hold that in reserve. And there is your first surrender. Which is our guy to our flank. And so that's why this crumbles. But the thing is, the guy on the other side actually wasn't pushing either. So I can see why he should quit now. There's no pushing. He's not seeing any fighting whatsoever. I mean, one thing he could have done is just stabilize this and pushed across over to here, because I think this access would have stabilized us over here. I could definitely see why he's not doing it. So we get hit here. He could see our assault pioneers. Okay, so they go down there. This is equalized, and I think they still have a command back here. So they take command of this. That means we gotta push this Abrams in. The light rifles in here. We see all these T-62s. Thinking we cannot hold this. It's just not gonna happen. We're gonna put these this one chieftain. We're gonna make a line of tanks again. We'll put one chieftain there. We're gonna put an AMX 30 into that and an M1 IP. So holding this outside. You know there's a bunch of flak over here. Don't want to push that. PT-76s coming straight down the middle are going to get absolutely destroyed. Yeah, you're not. That's not going to happen. Then we start seeing some T80 UDs, which are just going to hurt my soul. So with this guy not pushing as much, Viper has to tap this on the side. We actually have a situation where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 people in the middle, but with how we're sustaining this attack with our 4 over here, we're able to overwhelm them. And with this, with the AI kind of doing this wonkiness over here, I end up having to take over another spot as well, which is fine. I learned a lot during this game. So chieftain up here, AMX 30, M1 IP. We're gonna bring up another AMX 30. At this point, I don't want to keep on putting chieftains in that. I want to mix this around. This AMX 30 takes a silly way over here. Does it get killed? If it did, it would make sense. No, we end up backing it up. We pull in these light rifles. This Milan 2 takes a shot, kills that T62. We're out of laws here to deal with this T62. And we start getting shots from this 30 mil. We're gonna pull up the Gazelle rocket to deal with the infantry. It can just get there. We're gonna use the AMX 30 as well to get up here. So if they come remotely come across this, we'll have side shots, but also to take anything down. This is actually an MX 1390. So not big weapons pen, but we're going against T64s, some T72s in here, and some T55s. It can pen a T55, but it's also a light tank, can die easily, so there's that. That supply, I didn't see where that was going. This Abrams, I wanted to try to hit out there, and I'm thinking there is so much out here, we don't want to deal with that. Because we're also getting hit from the side from Ghost. So we pull all this all the way back. But it does take a side shot from a was it a T50? I think it's a reflex from a T80. I finally see those T80 UDs. And the Challenger takes 2 Agnes ATGMs from this T64. Now this SU-25 comes in, PVids are gonna destroy that. But it does go down. A10 coming in. Shot there, missed it, actually hits the T-72. Some good micro on that, because the only way you can get this is good micro. Thunderbolt gonna come in, take a shot at the T-55 and miss. It's gonna take a missile though. Ferdinand's Challenger's gonna keep that down. Mi-24 getting hit here. That's not gonna survive how many PVids we have, but we pulled up an extra PVid. We're gonna pull this Milan that was down here up to here, and we're gonna pull this Milan up to here. We're gonna call in a couple other things, some more tanks. At this point, this entire area has been taken over, and I think if we were pushed from here, we would not have been able to hold this. we would, but no, we would have been some trouble. They have a good push over here. Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do there. Another tank push by Divian. Our engineer dragons taking some shots. Our Milan's back here taking some shots with the T-62s. And T-62's taking some hits as well. This Milan's taking. We have a Hell Arm here also taking some shots. Once this Milan's up here, it's going to take some shots. We lost all the remaining tanks that were up here. T-62 taking another one. We're going to supply these rifles. We were trying to get the engineers, but we'll take that. Barentino will take some shots. Hilariously enough, it's going to take shots here. I do not save the Milans, but I do save the 2 supplies. The Abrams is just going to stay there because you can take the rest of that. PVID over here. It's going to take some shots at Mi-24. We lost the other PV that was over there, but that Mi-24 is not long for this world. And we're just holding. We see them moving here, so we move these scouts back. We can still see the bridge with these scouts, so I wasn't really worried about it. These scouts move back. We start seeing Comet start pushing this side. This AMX-30... I mean, the autocannon is going to do work with the Jaegers. Jaegers might get close, but just as long as they're stunned, it's not going to happen. The biggest thing is being able to defeat this last one before it gets that close to fire. And if it actually makes an impact on the AMX-30, which stalls it or stuns it, it's going to be an issue. It is stunned, but they're stunned as well. He's going to move back. And being out in the open there, the AMX-30 is going to annihilate them. So with that in mind, we see that. We're going to bring up another AMX-30 in case there's an infantry push across this. Bring us some supply to get this AMX-30 repaired. And this Jaeger is not long for this world either. So this Milan with its 12.7 is taking shots at the 30 mil. This Milan is going to start taking shots at any vehicle it sees. And this time it is... Okay, I respect it. The 57. Milan's still going to get actually supplied here until it dies. There's that. Now we're starting to see Shilkas be used as a way to try to defeat challengers. Yeah, that's not going to work. This Abrams now is going to start supporting this to make sure we don't get hit from the side and we can hold this. They see the Bedford in here and we need to pull this out. Bedford, we only have 5 of these. It's full supply and it dies, which is unfortunate. We're going to move the Hell Arm up because we start seeing a lot of tanks coming up in this area again. We're going to move up this Abrams though to make sure these the 57 TAC-2s don't come up and do any more. We can't really see them when they come out, so that's fine there. PT-76s. I mean, the Challenger is going to make short work of that and the Abrams. Abrams takes the first one out. And then actually a good hit on the second one. So here is a couple T-80s, actually 3 T-80s, the T-64, a lot of T-80s actually. Artillery coming down is going to hit this 57 TAC-2. And this is going to be the ridiculousness that is this push. So, we're moving our supply in and out, so we need to keep the supply train running. This Gazelle rocket, we're going to move that. We also start to see the dragons getting hit there and Milan supporting. We're gonna put this AMX-30 here, so we'll have one here and one here, but we see that Yuri is collecting a bunch of units in this forest. This BMP though, going in the water is just seen. It's gonna take another shot, but we do not see it to kill it the rest of the way. We did have one of our enemies over on this side where the Warsaw Pack quit the game, so you saw that. And now Phil is going to try to push his M1HAs in here. Seed comes in, takes a shot to Silk. Shilka does take another one down, but there, with 5 people here, there's so much AA that it's just not going to happen. So we're going to pull up these Abrams up to there for right now. It's so many UDs and BBs. Cluster comes in. Good hit. Killed a couple of tanks there. A lot of AAA. AI Divian coming on the left side. Now with that in there, we're going to move up our Abrams. He also moves up his one Abrams here. This BDRM is going to get hit by a Milan or the Abrams, one of the two. We also see challengers. We're going to pull this chieftain over here as just a defense. If they come across this large opening in the middle, yes, we have enough here. We have this also back here. But we want to eventually ensure that there's no push across this tank area. The reality is this is our vector to attack. Hell Arm seeing the T-62s. So Lynx is going to pop some shots. I think it's a little bit too far though. Yeah, it's just on the edge of range. Yep. So we're getting up another push. We're going to bring in some AMX-30s. We're going to bring this Abrams up to push up in this point.
Warning.
Funny thing is, the AI here is set up in such a way in this area that sure they're going to get RD'd. But they are actually forcing them to grind through this. Which I thought was fantastic. AI did good stuff. So we're going to have another push here. We're going to put our command Abrams in here. We're going to follow with our only tank. Otherwise in here, we're going to support with PVADs in this Milan now. With these two Milan, I figured we can use this as just a fast ATGM base like we are the tanks. Just hold them behind the tanks. T-80 down. We're going to keep moving here. Ferdinand needs to actually heal his challengers. We're going to come up with that Milan. There's some scouts. Another armored push is being mobilized in the rear.
Warning.
We're going to bring this PVID that was back here up in this area. AMX-30, we're going to bring that up. We start seeing these T-72s, and this is why we had this. This Hell Arm here and this Milan are going to make short work of these T-72s trying to come out in the open. So absolutely no one is coming across this. Now the AMX-30 taking a shot in us and survived it. It's taking shots at the T-62. It is engined. And now it's dead. Took 3 shots, but hey, it's an infantry support tank. This Milan is out here. We did lose the tank that we had up here. I think it was the M1. AMX-30. So we have to play a little bit more passive. We don't have as many tanks as we want, but with that in mind, we're still having a ticking one, and I'm thinking to myself, because I don't know how, but they didn't have a command vehicle. Later on, I put a command back here and a command back here that's a command Spetsnaz, and so this equals it out, but this actually helps us close the gap a lot. Pushed by Yuri and all of these tanks. And now we see Battlefront bring in a whole bunch of stuff here. He was similarly helping with like Artie and stuff like that in this area, so he can fill in with everything that he hasn't bought, which is a lot, and he can fill this gap. We start supplying these units because we're going to prepare for a push across this, supported by right now 2 AMX 30s. We're going to bring in another AMX. Here it is, the AMX 1390 for any light tanks that we see. With this, we start to see some.
Warning.
It looks like a BMP-3 with this auto cannon. It is destroyed. This MI2 comes over, and I don't know how this PV didn't see it. Oh, there's a rack of trees here. And the Milan isn't in sight. It doesn't actually move into this PV. Oh, it actually does, and they just don't fire. Well, it's dead now because I manually told it to fire. AMX 30s, this Milan, the hell alarm we're holding here.
This is Red 2, enemy spotted.
Yeah, that was a crazy line of tanks that they had in that area. At this point, they command this entire area, but we still have a ticking one. Neutralize this. This is neutral. This is neutral. This is neutral. So, I mean, it's 3. Is it a point difference? This is 2. It's 1. That's 1. That's 2. 1, 2. We have 4 points. That's why. But if it's taking 1, we have 1 point more. More PT-76 is coming in. We're gonna move these Berlin actually these are regular rifles up here to see what's in this forest. We want to take this forest because we don't want to be hit by a mass of tanks on our command vehicle here. Hell arm gonna move up. It's gonna die anyway from a Bradley. MTLB in the forest. We're gonna bring up these AMX 30s along with these Abrams, with our own Abrams, and we're going to pretty much push here. T-55s here. Barantino is gonna take shots in this Abrams. Now I do not know how this Abrams survives this. And I have questions. There's good HE. I do know that the recent changes in artillery has changed how strong they are. Particularly the clusters. You get the AMX 30 up here, try to support this as well. Support an infantry push. He's also trying to push across as well. by smoking out this entire area, which is nice. We're gonna try to cross this though because we want to get that. We saw the command vehicle, and we're also figuring there's a command vehicle. But then T-80s come out here. We can nothing that we have can pin a T-80. It's just not gonna happen.
Warning.
So I do say, hey, we need a fire mission here because this we can't deal with those T-80s. They start counter-artering our stuff here. We get a supply up here to repair our Abrams. And if these 2 or these 3 T-80s move through this forest, this command vehicle's done. And then we'll have to use our chieftain here. So we're still slowly also gathering forces over here. And so is Old Eye and Battlefront. So we're slowly getting ready for that push. You'll see the push because we're going to get into a lot of infantry. AMX-30 here is going to try to hold this because I did not recognize it's here, but it's only a motor shoots in.
Warning.
But their RPG-18 could obviously just go right through the front armor of the AMX-30. T-80s, they're not going to try to push the T-80s. Phil does come in with a bunch of more Abrams. So that is actually going to help things. We're going to resupply ours. Our AMX-30 takes some good shots as it retreats, but it's really just the Abrams. ATGM in the forest takes a couple shots. Apache takes one. I don't know if that hit. All these Abrams are going to smoke and pull back. Smoke also only lasts for 20 seconds, so there's that. That's been changed as well. And our supply bit going up here. So the AI has reoccupied this area. He's getting ready for a push. Everyone's getting ready for the push. And here is our infantry. Since we know this is woods, there's going to be a lot of infantry in here. Here's the key that we're going to go with. The Engineer's Dragon are going to close the gap and hit any vehicles that are in the north. The 2 AMX-30s are going to pop out just a little bit, take shots at any vehicles, and then it's up to the Flash and the Flame engineers to close the gap and hit infantry. You saw the BMP-3 there, the autocannon. That's almost in a level fight with the AMX-30. The Old Eye is going to get his rifles up here. Because I see those BMPs and this one, the BTR, I'm going to pull up this AMX-13. It has to be able to deal in the front lines to just be fire support. And then we have a cluster of tanks all in here to hold this area. Pressing fire support on that Baratina, but it's not going to matter. All right, these boys are ready to go. We're going to get them out. We're going to start moving across. Here goes the Dragons. Unfortunately, the AMX-30 is taken out immediately because it has nothing else to do. And then I did this thing. I sent everything, including the Humvees, at the BMPs so they'd waste their ammo with this. AMX-30 goes down. This AMX-30 is taking shots at this BMP. We bring up this AMX-13. 2 ATGMs miss the AMX-30. One BMP-3 goes down. We're going to use this to start shooting at the BMP-3. Dragon's up here not seeing anything. AMX-13 takes out the other one, and so we're gonna move up and we're gonna get the flash in there. I didn't see that these flamers were still in the vehicle. That's a bad call. We're gonna get some rifles up here, and then we're going to close this gap. Supply is gonna start supplying those guys. Dragons starting to see the BTRs that are out here. We're gonna get the dragons to get a foothold in here and here, so we can flood more units through this gap. Engineer's flash coming in, and we're going to squeeze it from this direction, and here comes Battlefront. He's going to squeeze it from this direction. These T-80s won't be able to deal with this. Mortar Strucky with the BMPs, while they are likely better infantry than our flash, the flash rockets, with how fast they can actually be shot, are just going to do absolute work against them. Then the AMX-30s are going to pour it on as well. We do lose that engineer out there. These engineer dragons taking out 2 BTRs. This one's actually chasing that BTR.
Warning.
Here's more light rifles. AMX-13 supporting this. We're going to get this. Since it's out of range, we're not going to risk this cluster coming in, and this was a great cluster. How can it not be? Core of the tanks at least are out, but I mean they're M48s, so you're not really worried about casualties that you're taking here. Alright, so we're gonna get our rifles, Berlin light rifles, the saboteurs, the engineers. We're gonna get them into the forest. We're gonna get these AMX-30s in here, and we start seeing the T-80s. We're gonna get this AMX in here. We're gonna get the supply to supply these. Once I see these T-80s, I'm thinking to myself, here, side shot. That's what I'm thinking to myself, is side shot. Here, side shot. And also, if it goes down this road, if it's stalled, this Milan can take a shot. Oh, it has to come across here. Our command here is still doing work. We're stalling these chieftains here. We're just holding. At this point, it's even. And then we're gonna take the engineers and the flash. So AAA here. Baratusa firing at us. Napalm's gonna come in. It is gonna miss. We're gonna pull this AMX up, deal with these vehicles, see what they are. This AMX-30 can't see anything yet. This is gonna come up to see if it can see this T-62 or anything else. Could not take a shot because we're outmatched, because there's a T-80 here. We're gonna bring in the light rifles. It does take a front side. It is routed. That was a good shot. Repairing the light rifles back here. AMX-30 gonna take down those OPs. The autocannon is just gonna support anything that is even across this river. It's not gonna survive that. HE comes in just on the edge of our tank. Good HE round. Another T-80 in here. Artillery is going to come in and clean the rest of this up before we push in. We're resupplying our forces. We pulled an AMX-30B up here as well, in case there's any more infantry. And we have neutralized this cap. It's a good neutral push. We're still holding this with this. And we're still holding these 4 tanks out here. Milan. So what we're ultimately going to do is we're going to push this and we're going to move this up to secure this bridge and this bridge. T-55's coming in here. Tracked. Rapier taking out another helo. And there goes another one. T-55s are going to come at us. We need to stabilize this line up here. Once this T-62 is out, AMX-13 is going to take a shot at it. And it's down. This one, it can see the OSA. It takes it out. So since Battlefront's taken over this area at this point, we're going to start moving up. We start seeing some traffic come in. AMX-30 can take out the gas. We take in and put an Abrams in here. So at this point, this is our best tank that we could pull in. These Chieftains and Challengers have to be able to challenge the T-55s. We see the T-55s coming in here. We're just gonna smoke this out while his command vehicle comes in. So many ATGMs are gonna make sure this T-72 can't get even close. Tarantino getting ready to fire. We're gonna try to get this Gazelle rocket to hit this T-55. I don't think it's not gonna be able to hit this Tarantino. It's just not gonna happen. What's going on over here? Yeah, that deep left push isn't gonna work there. So we're slowly working our way up through this direction. This Yaz will be able to see us, so we're gonna take this out with the AMX-30. And there goes our command vehicle, finally, with the Barentino strike. I think that was the second or third. It's stunned now, though. Multiple ATGMs. And it gets hit by one of the tanks. All right, so from that idea, I know Phil was gonna move back at some point. We're gonna stick this Chieftain in here with supply right next to it, and we're gonna stabilize this line. And we're gonna keep on working this. Gonna get scouts with an ACAV in. But also remember, we have this Abrams in over here, so there's no rush. This Abrams is gonna start hitting this T-80, and then we see the command vehicle back here. Rifles taking out that T-80 with an ATGM. And we have an AMX-13 here to take out anything that's minor. So from there, since that was a push there, we need to get supplies up. We start seeing their foothold on this side. And now we have some Sapri RPOs going up against some Flame. We're gonna take this AMX-30 up here as well, and this Sapri is gonna be destroyed. It's not long for this world. This AMX-30 is gonna start hitting this vehicle. It's on the other side of the river. It's a UAS. Firing a 14.5 at us. It's not gonna long for this world. We're gonna get a recon here so we can see what we're fighting. This Flame's trying to survive this. The Sapri RPO is going to go down. Flame dies ultimately of, well, flames. Ironic. AMX-13 coming up here. KDA shoots in. They come up here. The scouts, the ACAV is going to fight. ACAV is going to go down from one of these shoots in, obviously. I mean, there's no other reasoning. Here's the AMX-30 though, across the river. It can see this. We're gonna get a Nighthawk in. Ultimately, this Nighthawk is gonna come in, and we're gonna have it bomb this area. Shoots is gonna come in. We're gonna try to pull the ACAB back. Another Panzerjäger. Also, I wanted to see if anything can see that Nighthawk, and yeah, that's still a good distance away. Never messed with the Nighthawk all that much. This Bertucci doesn't see it though. Until it's damn near right directly over it. So that could be something we could use. Battlefront is just going to brutal, just force his way across the river. On the left side, they have neutralized this, but pretty good line of tanks and everything here. It's pretty much going to be the equal of what happened before. The T-80 is going to pop out of there. You have a +1. It's going to go to time limit though. And at this point, they're running out of tanks. We're running out of tanks. We're having to use a command vehicle as our primary tank. Since we can see this now, they're just going to already all of this. So this is not going to keep on going. So that's one base that's taken down. T-55s down here. A group of 3 of them. That AMX-13 goes down. We're resupplying this one. We have this AMX-13 gonna stay here. We're gonna get the Berlin Light Rifles on this side. T-55 is gonna be hit by an AMX-13. It's gonna go down because it's not really well armored. ACAV, I want him to take a shot. He is going to take 1 shot. Actually, no, he's gonna get stunned. And I say here, let's have the Abrams come over here in case they try to roll down this road. The Abrams will take this with the Engineer Dragons. These rifles are out of AMXs. We're gonna have the rocket, and we're gonna get another rocket, and we're gonna pull over. Where is he? Hell arm. We're gonna get some more rifles in here for ATGMs. Rocket's gonna take some shots here. Gonna hurt the infantry a little bit, but I don't see the Gazelle rockets as really a big thing. I think the Hell Arms are likely what you need. So that push across did not work very well, but I mean, I don't see Yuri pushing across this river either, so. So we're gonna pull up the Engineer Dragons. We're gonna see if they can get shots here on the T-55. Same thing with these rifles. They should be able to get shots here. One is hit, still up pretty high there. AMX-13 comes out. It dies, but one of their tanks is stunned. It goes down from the rifles. Another ATGM goes in, and now we have the Hell Arms coming in to support this. Rifles, we'll get some Engineer Flash and Flame out here. These rifles are just going to engage from long distance, which is fine. Engineer's going to come up in the rifles. We have another more light rifles in here. Eventually I moved this up here to deal with this, but there is another command up there. That's not going to survive this pivot, so we pretty much just stabilize the line here with a bunch of supply, and frankly they're not going to get past that. So Jaeger's trying to exploit more area, but there's no tanks down here to really exploit. We need a PVAD down here, not only to fire on the infantry, but also to secure this. Since it's late in the game, a lot of the aircraft has been already shot down. But if this was earlier in the game, when there's a lot of air, well, any air, it would just be bad. I did not notice the supply is non-existent until then, so I pulled them back and pull in some more supply. All right, so they're stabilized the left from that push. We've stabilized this. T80 UDs coming in and some T80 BVs. Allies moved up. We're going to just hold this established line. Everywhere else is decent. We get a +2 because of this. Calling in fire support for the Spetsnaz. We're going to move this Abrams up to deal with this. We're going to try to get this rocket to deal with the Spetsnaz, but this is why there's so many AAA out here. It's just not going to happen. All right, so we flooded it with more infantry, saboteurs, engineer, flash, and then we're going to take this area. Yeah, there's establishing those tanks over there. All right, so that one's dead. That Spetsnaz is still up. We're not going to be able to hit it with this before this game is over. We're going to take some good shots at it and force it out of the zone. When you get it to retreat, it'll retreat north. Cluster strike gonna come in. We're gonna be able to move our Abrams out of the way of that cluster strike. We're just gonna move. Oh, it's gonna move out of the zone anyway, and that will be your game. So pretty good. We had 217 conquest points in that one. We had the most kills. Actually, Phil had the most kills, but we had the second most kills. We had actually middle of the road losses, so that was actually pretty good for us. Who we fought against, I mean, Comet had a lot of losses. Sixpool didn't have a lot of losses. Noob One kind of did, but we didn't really fight him head on. Ghost did. Especially the AI after he took over Divian, pretty much got wrecked by us. Looking at, wow, there's a lot of stuff that happened here. So let's just look at our kills from here. So that Harrier took out the Strela. That was the beginning of the game. We had this Chieftain Mark 10 take out Igla, some BMPs, T76s, or PT76. T64 and T72, so that was good with that Chieftain. This Abrams took out a couple PT76s and a T64, T72, PT76, more T62s, T55s, T62s, T55s for that Hell Arm. Hell Arm only took down one T62. This Milan did absolute work. So this was the one looking across the river at the bridge. Took down T62. 230 mils, two Z23 TAC 2s, 57 TAC 2s, and a T62, AMX 30, a couple of Jaegers, a couple of EMP3s, and a BTR. This Harrier took down, that was a T80 that it was a cluster of like 3 or 4 of them. We took down just one. That's unfortunate. This AMX 30 and Egla TC2, couple T55s, BTR motor shoots in, another T55. This AMX 13, this is using it as a primary like support tank, not just an infantry, but because that's the AMX 30. But the AMX 13 just coming up and hitting those light vehicles. If we had any T62s in there, any mass or even T80s, it would have been bad. But that's why you have to have your infantry in front and it's screening your light tanks, your infantry support tanks, and that's essentially what the AMX 13s are. They're essentially armor wise infantry fighting vehicle, but it does have a better gun on it. So BMP3, little motor strelkies, took out that T62 from a side shot. That Osa and Katie shoots in. ADA shoots in. A good one with these rifles. Couple T55s and T62s. MX30. Couple infantry, which is nice. This Abrams pretty good. Taking out a T80. That was the command vehicle in there. So this was the one that we brought in later. MX1390, ATGM, and Z23 Tech 2. These rifles took out a couple T55s. So I thought it was pretty good in this one. I thought we had a pretty decent support for infantry, and with our teammates pushing in the middle with us with the heavy tanks, we were able to support any push in the middle, and it kind of helped. So we did have this Nighthawk take down a T80. That was the command vehicle. Okay. Nighthawk actually did something. It did work. I'm very proud of it. All right, so that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.